Good afternoon, Year 5. Welcome back to your next reading for pleasure time. Yesterday we started looking through some myths, doing a bit of myth busting, starting with the myth you are either born with a talent or you're not. Today we're on page 24 for those following along, and myth number 2 is mistakes equal disaster. This is my third least favourite myth, after the one about colds and the one about talent. If this one was true, then my life would be a catalogue of major disasters, because there have been a lot of big mistakes made by me. You already know at least one of them. First, there was the time I got the bus to the wrong Bergen, a big error. Then there was the time I got lost in my first match at the Sydney Olympics. To Peter France, a guy I'd beaten loads of times before. I'd spent 4 years of my life training for that moment, but I got too nervous. That was a mistake. And then there might be some mistakes you don't know about. The time I bowled a cricket ball at full pelt at my brother, who was waiting, bat in hand, at the end of the garden. We assumed he would hit it perfectly, and either I'd catch it or it would land in the GFC. It didn't. Instead, it ricocheted off the washing line and smashed straight through next door's greenhouse. That was definitely a mistake. Or there was the time I lost 40 table tennis matches in a row on the Japanese super circuit. They were 40 bad days, I can tell you. You only earned money if you won, so I was broke. On day 41, when I had my first win, I went out and spent most of my winnings on the equivalent of a pot noodle to celebrate. But it is from these mistakes that we learn things. You see, the only way you can get good at stuff is if you know where your gaps are, what your weak spots are, what you need to work on. Mistakes are brilliant for that. They tell you exactly what you don't know, which is what you need to know. Wrong answers in a test. Awesome. Those are showing you the stuff you don't know. Let's work on that then. No point in working on the stuff you can already do. That is a waste of time. We are busy people. Missed a few catches in your netball or cricket match? Fantastic. That'll be the skill to focus on. Get your brother to start throwing balls at you and make sure, unlike me, you catch it before it dents your head. You'll soon be nailing it on the sports field. Fluffed your lines in a rehearsal? Brilliant. Now you know exactly which ones to practice to be word perfect at the next run through. The idea that you should be embarrassed about making a mistake is one of the biggest myths out there. And super successful people know this. They've all spent years learning from the mistakes they've made and using the information these mistakes have given them to perfect their skills. Sometimes you make these mistakes when it isn't a practice. You might make them in a real exam or in a real match. I did. I lost in front of 8 million people watching the Olympics on the BBC. I know what you're thinking. 8 million can't have been watching table tennis. I wonder about that match. Maybe the 100 metres was up just after my match. But I learned from that mistake too. I learned one of my most valuable lessons of all, that life doesn't stop or end if you make a mistake like that. There is always another chance, another path to follow. There wasn't another Olympics for me, I was too old, but there were other great matches I won after that. And guess what? I had learned to manage my nerves a little bit better. And there were all other things I could try to be good at too. After the Sydney Olympics, I decided to have a go at writing. I'll let you be the judge of whether that choice was a mistake. Did you know that J.K. Rowling had her first Harry Potter book rejected 12 times before a publisher finally took a chance on her? 12 failures. You heard it right, 12 times she had to pick herself up off the floor and decide to try again. It must have been pretty discouraging. talking to friends and having to tell them that she still hadn't got anyone to believe in her boy wizard. But luckily for us, Rowling didn't give up and she didn't let the failures get to her. She just doubled down and tried again. We never would have discovered the 12 uses of dragon's blood if she'd given up after receiving 12 rejections. Myth 3. Everyone is much cleverer, much better than me. I'll never catch up. Okay, let's start with a brilliant quote to tackle this one. It's not always people that start out the smartest who end up the smartest. Carol Dweck, a famous psychologist from the University of Stanford. We learnt about her in the You Are Awesome book that we were reading last week. Do any of these ring a bell to you? It seems like an impossible dream that you, usually always picked last in PE, could ever join the football team. You want to fall over laughing at the thought of auditioning for the school play when at the moment you're too nervous to even put your hand up in class. You don't have a chance, having never really got the hang of long division, of giving or getting even near top marks in a maths test. But you might, you really might, because we've demonstrated that you are an awesome learning machine capable of amazing things if you make the effort. The bad news, you might put in the hard work and never make it to the Olympic podium. I didn't. You might not become Prime Minister. I haven't done that yet. Or win a Nobel Prize. I certainly haven't done that, and it's looking quite unlikely. I haven't really worked on my physics or economics lately. And I haven't had the time to try negotiating international peace either. The good news, it doesn't matter if you are not the best in the world at what you decide you want to be. What we know is that if you get out there, give it a go and try your hardest, you'll be a whole lot better than where you started. It's almost certain you'll have a lot of fun along the way. And you never know, you might end up being the best in the world. But one thing we can be totally sure of is that if you don't ever start, take a risk and dare to fail, you definitely won't be. So it doesn't matter where you begin. It doesn't matter if others are already better than you. We have no idea what we are capable of until we get out there. Start putting in the effort and begin learning from our mistakes along the way. In the words of the amazing author, George Eliot, look her up, it's never too late to be what you might have been. Here's a list of people who didn't achieve great things until they were 35 or older. I know, difficult to comprehend being this old, but it goes to show that you should never stop learning. Samuel L. Jackson, getting his big Hollywood break. Charles Darwin publishing The Origins of Species. Ray Kroc founding McDonald's. J.K. Rowling publishing Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Failure taught me things about myself that I could have learned no other way, said J.K. Rowling. So, if you want to get really good at stuff, here are my 3 top tips. Number 1, dream big. Number 2, don't be afraid to fail. This is an easy thing to say and less easy to do. But believe me, when I say that, failure is inevitable on the road to success. 3, hard work pays off. So let's roll up your sleeves and get practicing hard. Let's do this. Have you got an appetite for hard work? Now, unfortunately, as these videos can't be too long, I've already been told off for talking for too long on some of them, we're not going to get the chance to finish this book. And I know that a number of you, as I've already said, have got it at home. So please, please, please do read on, okay? There isn't that much more of the book to go. You'll get through that, I would imagine, in a couple of days, if not a week. And I'd really like to hear, maybe email me, something that you learn from the book later on in the further chapters, or something that you have learned from listening to the You Are Awesome book, or learn already from reading this book. It's been a real pleasure over the last couple of weeks to do your Reading for Pleasure videos, and hopefully you've enjoyed reading along, and hopefully you are going to finish this book if you do have it at home, and, you know, maybe devise your own guide to getting good at stuff. Take care, have a nice week next week, and we'll be back with more learning videos after the half term. Take care.